Everybody. It is Thursday, November 7th, 2024. This is episode 204 it is titled Technical Indicators. And so we're going to go over a lot of that today. But, we got to talk about the elephant in the room. So, like I say, be stacking. Sats, be stacking your silver ounces. And I got a couple reasons why. So update on my lovely wife, Erin. She is off of bed rest. So now, hallelujah, right? And she is going, big surprise, I believe she's going to join us. She's just upstairs getting herself together. But I believe she might hop in with us. So that'll be good. That'll definitely be good. And then let me see here what I do with my chat. It is okay. And so yeah, that's what we're gonna go over. A few articles that I think would be pertinent. And so let's go over some prices. So right now, Bitcoin stands at 75,883.50. So over the month, it is up 21.20%. So that's a great return in just 1 month. People are looking for that type of return, and in an entire year. If they can get 21% on their money in an entire year, they're happy. People protecting their wealth. We're getting 21% a month. So that was great to see last night. If you were watching, I wasn't watching the election per se, but I just seen how I was looking at that map. I could see how the map was changing, and then it was like a little, it looked like a speedometer, but it says percentage chance to win and all that. But as I was watching it, simultaneously, I was watching the price of Bitcoin go up and up and up, and I said, "Yeah, this is what I like to see. This is what I like to see." So, after it was all said and done, the price of Bitcoin stayed up. It didn't, sometimes it'll flip flop on you guys. And you know how that is. If you played around with those, I don't know, a few years ago, that thing went up to like 70 cents. So you just had to offload it. Now I seen it was 20 cents a day. I don't know how low it went back down. So you got to watch out for those meme coins. Definitely got to watch out for those. Let me see. Let me see one moment. Bear with me. So here we go. I didn't even check silver, man. Let's do it. I haven't checked it in a couple days. Yeah, I don't like it. All right, one moment. I can get my son to help me. I need help with technical difficulties. So it looks good. It looks good. Price action looks good. And so the first thing we want to talk about is we want to get into this article. Now, this was a great article. I was going to do it last week, but we were kind of running short on time, and I didn't want to take it all the way, bore you to death, and take it all the way there. So let us go get into it. This is by Cointelegraph. Let me see. Cointelegraph. And it's pretty here. I'm going to pull it up. All right. All right, so looking for the author, so we can always give our receipts to the person who wrote this. Man, we don't even have his name up here. Is he ghostwriting? Let me see. All right, he don't have his name on there, and that's that. Can I share the screen just so you guys can see it? It wasn't. I know I scrolled too far. But I didn't see his name. We're gonna share the screen so you guys can go over it with us and just look at. It's a couple charts in there, but they're simple. Like I always say, they're gonna be. These are line charts again. And so, all right, yes, I found the author, and his name is even more. Brajman Tamuli. Brajman Tamuli is the writer of this article. So let's see what he gets into. Mm-hmm. There we go. There we go. All right, let's read it. Let's read it. I can read today. uh, all right. Titled article: Bitcoin technical indicators predict Bitcoin cycle peak and up to 174. It says in 174K to 462K. They want it in that range, and this is why he says that. A historically accurate Bitcoin price indicator suggests that Bitcoin's price will reach 174,000 to 462,000 range within 24 months. Bitcoin, which is right now, looks like it says 75,936, registered its highest ever 3-day candle close at 72,724 on October 29th. After the crypto asset rallied 8.75% in 24 hours. So with Bitcoin moving above its overhead resistance at 71,500, based on this key indicator, investors could be looking at a return on investment range of 145% to 530% in the next 12 months. So those those that they're screaming. Those are screaming. So you want to look at this chart here, right? This is the 3-day chart that they mentioned. Now it's small, but I can't really do much with it. Let me say I'm scared to click on it. Every time I click on something, stuff go wrong. All right, that worked. So this is from. It doesn't give me the days. Doesn't give me the days. So you look, it starts out right here. Then you see that. Look at that. Look at that jump up. Boom, boom, boom. Look at those candlesticks. It tops out overhead, right? So I guess 71.5 is going to be tough resistance. Boom, it taps it again. Boom, it taps it again. You see that? You see that pattern? It keeps tapping that resistance. And then right here, you seen this bullish close. I mean, look at the candlestick. The close is weak. And then that got it over its resistance. And now that we have now gotten over the all-time high, if it could stay in 75, 76,000, what you will see is, bless you, what you will see is what they call price discovery. I know you guys are familiar with that. Price discovery just means it's in uncharted territories. The price has never been this high, so there's no ceiling on it. And so it's just going to discover a price, and then it could create a ceiling right there, its own ceiling. So this is excellent stuff. So I was happy with what I saw last night. Bitcoin is close to breaking out of a 7-month price consolidation range. So for 7 months, we've been talking about it. Aaron talks about it. It's doing this little dance sideways, boom, boom, boom. It's been in the 60s for how long, y'all? It drops down to the 50s and comes right back. It's anywhere from 60 to 69. And then it's in that range for like a month sometimes. And it makes it boring because people get bored to death, man, they'll go do something else. So the consolidation range, the market is anticipating a period of price discovery after Bitcoin records new all-time highs. So this article is from last week before it hit the all-time high on the weekend. This is on Thursday. All right, so right here, as illustrated in this chart, each Bitcoin peak since 2013 has occurred between 1.618 and 2.272 in the Fibonacci sequence. And under the current setup, the price target at 1.618 is $173,000. And the price target at 2.72 is 458,319. So if you guys are familiar with using the Fibonacci sequence when trading, you'll just know, you'll understand there's certain, you know about the golden ratio, but what they're doing is they're charting this all the way back to 2013, and you'll see similar things in the chart. So let's pop it up. So you see this chart, and you're going back to 13. So you see this, bam, it drops down, and it does the same again, bam. It's doing the same again. You see the blue, see them green boxes, boom. So right there, you see right here, it looks like it's far away, but it's not that far away to hit the 1.618 Fibonacci mark. And Fibonacci, to me, is a good way to trade. It could get a little convoluted, but it's a good way to trade. And you're using the sequence as illustrated in the charts. Each Bitcoin peak since 2013 has occurred between 1.618 and 2.272 Fibonacci. And under the current setup, the price target is 1.618, which is 173,088, and the target for 2.72 is 458,319. That's what those prices are if it continues to follow trend. And because it's always seemed like it's following the trend, why would we suspect that it won't continue to follow its trend? It's just that now the breakouts are serious. All right, so boom, boom, boom. All right, that's about it on that article. That's about it on that one and we'll go into some other stuff. That's a technical indicator. So you guys let me know about the Fibonacci. We could talk about that one day. It's pretty boring. But I tell you. All right, we in the house. What's up, Les Square? You said GE in New Jersey is in the house. What's up, Les Square? We got T Will line, man. For hire. We haven't seen you in a while, man. We thought you was tired of us. What's gonna be the Thanksgiving Bitcoin price gonna be? Oh, I got a chart for that. I didn't bring it up because Thanksgiving is a little bit away. But hold on now. Hold on, T Will line. I might have to work with that one. I got one over here. Let's Square, how is the weather there? Oh, the weather is, so we're coming into dry season, but dry season also it equivocates to the winter. So it's the winter time. It's chilly. I think this morning it got up to 65 or something, but it's dropping down to what would you say, 50, 52, 54 or something? Yeah, it's getting low on us, so I don't know. It's chilly in the morning though. You gotta wear your jacket in the morning. And when the sun come out, then you can have your jacket off or your shorts. And then like now, the sun's going back down. It's gonna get chilly again. Yeah, the weather here could be weird. Hello family, let's freedom ring. He says hello family. BK Crypto says boom. Who stepped in the room? All right, the second thing I wanted to go over here is all right, here we go. I definitely want to talk about that. All right, we're gonna go over to. I'm gonna switch over real quick. One thing is, I had a picture on my Twitter that I wanted to show everybody. I showed you the other picture yearly on Twitter, right? So I got this thing last night. Somebody sent.
Is it on here already?
Well, I don't know if your Twitter's up.
Hey y'all.
Uh-oh, she made it. I want to share this Twitter screen.
You have to find it.
And so, like I said, I'm not a big political guy, but I'm still watching the markets move by a major election. And then we have to look and see how we can move if there's any benefit from us like actually we're in another country. So we could write in a vote, but I don't think it's necessary. I don't live there. What am I voting on? We actually live over here. We have to vote here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have to carry. We got to worry about who we vote for here more than vote for the United States president. But we know that in the macro view, it is very important. So somebody sent me this last night, and I found it to be interesting. But you guys should take a look at it and tell me what you think. So it says the price of Bitcoin on election day. So it comes every 4 years. 2012, the price of Bitcoin was $10. In 2016, the price of Bitcoin was $709. You're like, oh wow, it's jumping up. In 2020, it was 13,550, and as of last night, I think it touched 76. This is just what they said, 70,000, but I think it touched 76, and it rode around 75,000 the main time I was watching it. So you see those jump ups on election day.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see where it typically goes, right? If you had that 709 just sitting smooth, it'd be what, 75,000. It'd be looking lovely for $709. So that I forgot I was going to show you that it was on my Twitter over there, but all right. Well, that's it on that one. Just wanted to give perspective of how the price surges because I hear a lot of people kind of complain like it's not moving enough, it's not moving fast enough. But just slow down, it will. I told you. You look back this time next year, November 7th, 2025, and you look all the way back a year. I guarantee you, your money will have it will at least double.
You want to do this?
Oh yeah, I was gonna read this too. See, that's what it's not on my phone. That's why I was struggling. Like, where the hell are these articles?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's the whole. I didn't open the page yet, if there's even a page to be open. Okay, so this is talking about Bitcoin strictly price action. Bitcoin gained 19,000%. I'm gonna say
No.
that.
Not 19,000.
Okay, 1,900%. 1900, 1,900% in Trump's first term. Huh. Will the Bitcoin price hit 1 million this time? Bitcoin could top 1 million per coin during Trump's second run, according to historical price data. Bitcoin BTC soared by over 1,900% under Trump's first term as United States president between 2016 and 2020. So what does that mean? Look at the prices. Look at the prices. I mean, it's ridiculous. You don't think it could hit 1 million, but look where we're at. If it hit 1,900%, then what does that mean? That also really basically means you got 500% per year. A little bit lower, right? Because you get 10, 15, 20. And so if you say you could get that same return, you'll get that same return. And what it looks like 75,000 really can go out there exponentially. And that's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for. So just wanted to mention that stuff. Like I said, I'm not a political guy. I'm watching macro views. I'm trying to see what's going on out here every day. And once we got that election behind us, it's just business as usual. And that'd be bad. So everybody, we should be happy. We should be celebrating in the Bitcoin universe. And just waiting for things to come. That's why I say stay stacking. People be like, oh, it's too hot to buy right here. I say, well, people said that about 13.9 because I was in the comments and I was on the little message boards and they say 13.9. So they got all these numbers that's gonna drop back. No, it might drop back to 2,700. Then I'm gonna buy it. It never gets there, right? I say just get it. If you got it, get it. And say bust your bank on it. Don't break the bank on it, but if you got a little something, in the bank, go ahead and knock that out. Yes, during hurricane work, 14-hour days. Oh yeah, I bet. Yes, sir. T. Willine out there putting in that hard work, man. So much respect to him. much respect to him, man, for going out there, and especially in the aftermath of the hurricane. I seen videos and stuff, man. It was crazy. It's crazy out there. So yeah, man. Shout out to T. Willine for putting in hard work. So I can't figure out. Sometimes I be all right. So I got this one here. Uh, this is another article by Cointelegraph right here. Now this says the fate of the Bulls to be decided at 86,200. Okay, let's go. Let's see why. According to Axel Adler Jr., a Bitcoin researcher, the 86,200 level would be a critical point for the Bitcoin bulls. Citing Bitcoin's short-term holder analysis and risk evaluation chart, Adler Jr. explained the 86,200 Bitcoin would reach the high risk upper boundaries for the current cycle. That's what he said. So let's look at the chart that he has given us. So this chart is a pretty good chart. So he's saying it's reaching a high upper limit boundary. So you could see, if you can see my finger, probably not. So if you see up here where you see about 80, all the way to the right, as you're looking at the screen, you see that 86.2K. So now you have this upper limit boundary that he's showing you right above it. So once it hits right here and they meet, they usually will meet at resistance. You see, as Bitcoin was going up all this time, it wasn't going to meet the upper boundary. Big gap in there, but now it's getting close to touching it. So 86,200 looks like it could be a battleground. But I don't know, because I think it's just going to be price discovery out there. So that was a good one. So I don't know. There's a lot going on with the Bitcoin price movement.
Oh, they didn't get to see it.
They didn't?
No.
No. Damn. I thought they did. Yeah, that one right there.
All right, let's try that again, y'all. I have to go upstairs for a minute. We always got to check to see what are they looking at. All right, so show them the thing on the right.
All right, my bad. We'll do it one more time. So on the right side, if you look at the right side, as you're facing the computer, you'll see it
over here.
You'll see a in green box 86,002K. Okay, right here, what you're seeing on the bottom is the candlesticks.
Mm-hmm.
So you're seeing the candlesticks, and then over top, and there's the bluish green line. That's the top limit boundary. Mm-hmm. And you see they're gonna meet right here pretty soon. Mm-hmm. And usually when you have that, you have resistance. You see all this growth right here? No boundary to worry about, but now we're getting there. So you may see resistance right there to 86.2, 86.5. But for the most part, if it gets that high, people will be bullish. They'll take it all the way out. I'm hoping they push it to 100,000 with the quickness. So that's what we have there on the Bitcoin side of the game. It looks real good. Mm-hmm. And so I pull up another one. I had those on my. These are on my phone though. That's a bad. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So some more Bitcoin news. I don't know if you guys heard this in the news, but I've been trying to tell people about this. You know, we're big on El Salvador and what's going on over here. It might actually make that a new home. Now, there's a story on Reason.com.
What's the story?
The story is about a week of failing to pay with Bitcoin in El Salvador. So we'll talk about that. So just failing purchases. I just seen somebody put on there, a husband and wife couple that we follow on Twitter. They go out every day. They do stuff, buy some groceries, go out to eat. And We'll see. And I have my suspicions why this is happening. This it has something to do with being the different age groups that people are, that you can kind of see the problem with it.
Go ahead.
All right, so here's the story. After a week of failing to pay Bitcoin with Bitcoin in El Salvador, the country claims to be a leader in crypto transactions.
Where?
But you can't force people to take currency they don't want. That's what President Bukele says. When the president Nayib Bukele promised that Bitcoin Bitcoin was. She's gonna take over. I ain't got my glasses.
When President Bukele promised that Bitcoin would be accepted everywhere in El Salvador, we thought it was a glimpse into the future. We thought we were entering a world where cryptocurrency would be woven into everyday life. I could tell AI wrote this. But after a week there, I found a different reality. Not a single business accepted my Bitcoin. We had a similar problem when we went there, but we had went there so early in the game. We went there in 2021. 22, March?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Of 2022.
Yeah,
anyway, we just thought they were still setting up, but it says El Salvador became the world's first country to adopt Bitcoin as legal tender alongside the USD. Their vision was ambitious, and the point was to make it easier to access financial services where traditional banking is often out of reach. To incentivize the option, the government launched a Chivo app offering $30 free and $30 in Bitcoin, I should say, to anyone who signs up. The trip to El Salvador received a gap between the promise and the reality. Restaurants, hotels, shops. His attempts to pay with Bitcoin there were met with confusion and outright rejection. In 2021, a law was passed requiring businesses to accept Bitcoin. However, every establishment visited turned it down. Instead, I received puzzled looks from waiters, clerks, and cashiers who seemed to be more perplexed than prepared. A survey was conducted and found that 92% of Salvadorans, don't use Bitcoin. This marks an increase from the 88% found in a similar study at Central American University in San Salvador last year.
Let me chime in on that, because we went to El Salvador. A lot of people don't even take your MasterCard or your Visa, so those people are just getting outright cash. They're not, selling you anything in Bitcoin, right? They just want the cash. So older generations leans on the cash. It'll take a generation, maybe two, where they actually start using Bitcoin. The younger people, the people who are more in tech, and those kind of people. And secondly, you get free Bitcoin on your card, right? $30 worth on your card. If you just said, I ain't using this ish, and set it to the side, so Bitcoins went up to the 76,000. So look how much your money would have went up.
If you just took the free $30 in 2020, yeah.
It just kept it because it's went up. I mean, and the way you could figure that, when they were giving the money out, it was about 9,300. So 9,300 to get to 72 is what? 9 times
8. Yep. 72. So it went up 8 times.
Went up 8 times, man. And you could have that just off of $30. It went up 8 times. So that means it sounds like a lot, but you have $240. But that's more than the $30 you did have. So yeah, some of the older crowd isn't really ready for it. It's the younger crowd who will really jump in,
But even the article says that people didn't understand how it worked. They didn't have any intention in learning. They don't want to give the government their personal information. We signed up for something the other day and asked for my social security number, and I was confused. Was that SwanCoin?
Yeah, we were trying to get somebody else in the household on SwanCoin. When you got more than one person in the house on SwanCoin, they act funny. Like we trying to do something nefarious.
I was like, why doesn't it need my social? Anyway, Bukele remains committed to his vision. He currently holds 6,000 Bitcoin, plans to buy more. There was a survey that asked respondents what should be the main focus of the future of the country, and only 1.3% responded Bitcoin. Meanwhile, the IMF voiced concerns about the country's Bitcoin experiment. It's narrowing the scope of the Bitcoin law, strengthening the regulatory framework and oversight of the Bitcoin ecosystem, and limiting the public sector exposure to Bitcoin. Bitcoin usage might be more prevalent in the capital or in crypto hotspots like Bitcoin Beach, but elsewhere the adoption remains limited. To me, that is it's a huge sampling of what is going to end up going on with it in general. I don't think that mass adoption isn't going to take place until the Black Swan event hits, and then mugs is going to start to get serious, I think.
Yeah, so it might take some time.
So J-Man said that some people in El Salvador use Strike and they don't understand the layer, especially if it's non-lightning. Hi, J-Man. I don't think the population in general understands any of it. And you can tell that by the sampling that they did. I don't even know that the kids at the university who were doing the study understand it, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because they would have to be a significant portion of that 1.3.
Yeah, because I'm not saying when it came out, but when I heard about Strike, I said, "Oh, what is this?" And I did research. I downloaded it on my phone, and then once I understood how it worked, I said, "Well, I don't really need it." But yes, you could send back and forth. But like he said, the layers of it.
I don't think they understand Bitcoin. They don't understand the mechanisms in which to use. They don't understand it comprehensively. That's oxymoron. I know y'all, but just on the whole, they don't understand it at all.
And you guys see how young Jack Mallers is. I mean, he looked like a young white dude in college or something. He's the inventor of Strike, multi-millionaire. We call them decamillionaires and all that.
He's probably a centimillionaire.
Yeah, he's a young looking dude. So, what's up, family? And now, did you have anything you wanted to input on that? Was the story over?
Yeah.
Okay, story was over. Yeah, so those are the little Bitcoin tidbits. I always give out silver tidbits for the family who might be stacking silver. And I had a good one right here.
I wasn't here to set up, y'all. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is. Okay, we're gonna get this. You guys familiar with Mike Maloney? He has goldandsilver.com, and he's going to show you a technique. Here we go. He's going to show you a technique of building your money with precious metal. It's called McCalvany.com.
Double your ounces, that's another dollar.
So this is one way you can use your ounces to your benefit. And this is really how you're supposed to use your ounces, back and forth. You're supposed to use your ounces back and forth to make money and not to really sell them unless you wanted to or needed to. But you just keep them in there. And once you build up enough ounces, you really don't have to stack if you don't want to, if you prefer to put the rest of my money here. But we'll see. And this is a good technique. I learned this technique quite a while ago, and I said, "Oh," and I'm not gonna lie to you, that's where the majority of our gold comes from. Because to buy an outright piece of gold right now, I heard the premium's like $849. So if you get something for $2,700, you're gonna end up paying $3,500 for that American Gold Eagle. So that's kind of tough. Double your ounces without investing another dollar. If you can you read that? That's small for you, right?
So in 2003, we purchased 40 ounces of platinum from McIlvaney Precious Metals. Traded those for 140 ounces of palladium in 2009. We sent back the palladium and switched to platinum, receiving 95 ounces. We now have more than double the ounces of platinum that we started out with and triple the dollar value we originally invested.
So that might be a little convoluted, but let's talk about it. They say what happened.
So for generations, productive Americans taught their children to save a portion of what they earn, put in a savings account, let compound interest grow its value over time. It was great advice at that time, but the time for that is past. Interest payments on bank savings are so small they don't even overcome inflation and fees. They don't even cover what's in there, which means that saved funds will shrink over time rather than grow. When you couple the fact with major bank failures in recent years, the inadequacy of the FDIC to adequately insure more than pennies on the dollar of all deposits at risk today for the groundwork that has been laid for bail-ins, it's no wonder savers feel like they can't win. Both living and investing in America today is like going up and down an escalator. Tommy used to say, take the stairs up and the escalator down, dealing with this stuff.
Oh yeah, with stocks, you'll build up slowly, and then you'll get some crazy news, and it's just like, and you're like, where did that big red candlestick come from?
So they're proposing that there's a way to save without risk of loss caused by government or financial emergency, but which also offered the opportunity for gain. What if you could save your money and grow it too? In order to do this, you'd have to accomplish two goals. Don't ride the escalator down, which I just mentioned. Right? And we all know this to be maintaining purchasing power. And rather than just maintaining your position, start moving up the escalator. Notice they didn't use the term stairs. Real assets maintain real value, and gold is real money. Gold is actually what you would call sound money because it checks all of the boxes of what money actually is.
Yes, it does. And I'm gonna scroll down to the gold one just to show.
This?
Yeah, how many ounces of silver does it cost to buy 1 ounce of gold? So let's go over this real quick to understand what their strategy is. So let's say you bought silver and you got 100 ounces, and you said, that's cool. I'm cool with 100 ounces, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you look at the silver to gold ratio, and you'll see the silver to gold ratio is like 80-1, which says how many ounces of silver does it take to buy an ounce of gold? It's 80-1, so you take 80 and buy an ounce of gold. But if you wait till the silver ratio comes all the way down to like maybe 40, then you can get an ounce of gold with only 40 of your pieces and keep back the other 60. Right? And that's what people are doing. They're just buying and then they're kind of doubling their money, because if you had 80 and then you got the 40, but you got gold with it, you doubled your money. And then when the silver to gold ratio pushes all the way back up, like the 80, you just take that gold and you buy more silver. And you're supposed to rotate this out, in and out, in and out, in and out. And the gold to silver ratio doesn't change very fast. It's been 80-1, but when COVID, it was 126-1. So that was the highest in the history of mankind. And that is what they want you to do. So he said, this is McAlvany himself.
McIlvaney, maybe?
McIlvaney, for the last 45 years, McIlvaney Precious Metals has tracked the price of silver relative to that of gold and regularly looked for opportunities for clients to make strategic shifts between the two metals. By buying whichever of the two is weaker, watching it grow stronger, and then continually repeating the process, you can increase this amount and your value over holdings over time, which is very low risk. As you may already know, the price of precious metals responds to various influences: industrial supply and demand issues.
Central bank demand.
Central bank demand, investor demand, and geopolitical events all impact the metals at different times to differing degrees. We can't control these events, but we don't need instead. What they say, but
we don't need to, but instead we can use them to our financial advantage.
There you go. Thank you for playing. Yeah.
So their trading strategy operates under the following immutable law.
There we go.
The value of gold and silver relative to each other fluctuates over time. Platinum and palladium can also be used if desired. I'm curious to know if cryptonomics does something similar to this. Said another way, although the prices of precious metals usually move in the same direction, up or down, they move at different speeds. Over time, one of the metals will be trading at a significant discount to the others. So by trading one for the other, an investor can move out of an overvalued metal and into an undervalued metal with ease and safety. In just a few trades, your portfolio can be abundantly enhanced. I think we get the idea. So you have constant protection against inflation or financial upheaval. It can produce a staggering return when the price climbs, underscoring the power of compounding. And it's just letting you know who can participate in this scenario.
And it's not hard, but it can seem difficult at first, especially if you're using physical silver to trade in. Because once you say you got, I don't know, $10,000 worth of silver, you're going to turn that into basically 5 American gold eagles. So you went to having a whole stack, right? So now you just got 5 coins. And it feels weird because you're like, dang, I had all that silver. But no, you made a double on your investment. And then it'll come back and you take the 5 coins and you get all this silver. Right? So it's an interesting play on how you want to treat your precious metals. But I think it's a solid play. And then, which is also, you know, you can talk to McIlvaney, you can talk to Mike Maloney, and who else? You can talk to Andy Sheckman. Yeah, you can talk to him and other people. So yeah, be on top of that if you have some precious metals, and if you keep accumulate. But when you see that gold to silver go down, with touch 40, you got to start buying back gold, or you got to trade. When I say buy back, just use your own silver and buy it back, and just watch it walk it out.
There's not nothing there.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Oh, I was just looking. I didn't even hear that one. Okay, so that's the Bitcoin, gold, and silver. I mentioned this last week. I mentioned it again. The Lynn Alden newspaper is coming out for newsletter. It is coming out. She sends it out every 6 weeks. So probably last one 2024. But it has a lot of things on it. It talks about the catalyst that the election was going to be on Bitcoin. Definitely has some nice charts on here. She's got mostly nice charts. The debt ceiling. Oh, we got to talk about the debt ceiling. Oh boy, the debt ceiling is just a mess. Well, I had to come here and do that another day. The debt ceiling, 35.7 trillion. Yeah, you go over there, check out that clock. You check out that U.S. debt clock. It'll just blow your mind how fast these numbers are taking off.
They said that Elon is going to head the commission to try to get that under control.
Oh yeah, they have to.
Doesn't mean that he will.
No, but bank lending. So it talks about bank lending, portfolio updates. She talks about M1 finance. So you got M1 if it's the total money supply, right? And M2 counts credit cards and other stuff like that. This is
counting capital.
Yeah, this is money supply. So the M1 money supply. If you look at this chart, when you go look at the money supply chart, it's real flat. It's flat for like 30 years. And then COVID hit, it just goes straight up.
T. Willon said, we have a debt ceiling. I guess not, right? 30 trillion, that's just no ceiling at all, right? 36 trillion.
They keep making the ceiling higher and higher.
There is no ceiling. But Max Kaiser says that.
Yeah. And so
I says Bitcoin has no top because fiat has no bottom.
Yeah, and I told you guys last show, but I really want you to think about it this way. When you see, it was a time Bitcoin was at parity with the dollar, right? A dollar could buy you a Bitcoin, and nobody cared. But the fact that it now takes you $75,000 to get one Bitcoin, you say, "Oh, Bitcoin went up," but the dollar has lost that much value. So think about it. When you see something that goes up in value, just remember that is the dollar losing purchasing power. And you have to understand that part. Even conversely, when you see inflation like that, when the bread goes up 15%, that means your dollar is losing that much value. So don't have your dollar sitting around losing value and all this stuff. Like I said, the person who had $240, you still be sitting on 30 just because you didn't make the necessary move to get your dollar working for you.
Also, tell them about the ancient Egypt thing.
Oh, which one? We was talking about a few.
You had said something like, if you'd have had something at the time you lived in ancient Egypt to now, you still wouldn't have $36 trillion.
Oh,
How does it go?
shoot. It was, hold on. It was like, it said, it said if you go back to ancient Egypt times and you worked every day getting paid $500,000 a day.
Oh, $500,000 US dollars a day.
All the way up until today. That's from
Mhm.
ancient Egypt, ancient Kemet, today.
Mhm.
You still wouldn't even have half of it.
Yeah, you wouldn't have half of
That's how much
the
it
debt
is.
ceiling.
That's how much it is. You say $500,000 a day? No way. I say, all right, do the math on it. That debt is so high, that number is so unfathomable, and that's why they just write it out. It's crazy. It's a crazy amount of money that I don't know what they're gonna do with it. But it seems like they're old and they don't care.
Mm-hmm.
It would blow the country up, but you guys do it. So that was that.
And did you know that 47 is the oldest president ever elected? That's 78.
Oh, who he beat out? Joe Biden. He had it before.
Don't get me to start lying, but I want to say yes.
Joe Biden was old. What he got?
They had some like little stats that I think it's been over 100 years. Not I think, I know. It's been over 100 years since the last president who served 2 non-consecutive terms. They had like these little
I can't. Yeah,
tidbits. He's the oldest president ever elected. There were like 2 or 3 other things.
Rutherford B. Hayes? Was it
Rutherford?
B. Hayes?
I want to say, yeah.
Yep. So he made history.
We're losing people, baby.
Okay. I'm sorry. I should have been on top of this. Yeah, they're losing. I don't know, but I was looking at this other thing that I thought might be interesting. But where we at in the stream? I'm sorry.
What does that mean? Where are we at?
I just look at the time, like how long it's been streaming.
Oh, what does that mean?
But so if you have now new leadership, the real question is, what do you do, and did you prepare yourself for new leadership? You can't like be so hard on one side or the other that if it doesn't go that way, you didn't prepare yourself for it to go the other way.
Junior read me a very disturbing topic, and I hope it's an urban myth or a lie or a rumor. But they said that in the last 24 hours, over 700 people committed suicide because of the new president-elect.
Oh man!
Like y'all were that emotional. I hope it's a rumor, right?
That'll take you too far.
But I guess the point that we're making is you can't be that emotionally tied to a geopolitical system. Period. And we tell you guys often, you have to live your life with the idea that it don't matter who's the president. If the person you want to win, who has the best policy for you wins, great. Fantastic. And if the person that you weren't crazy about wins, you need to change your perspective and say, well, how can I make that work for me? Right? Say what you want to say about president-elect. Again, I'm going to say he's good for the economy, right? So put your pennies where they put their dollars and make the situation work for you. I don't know what's going on in America that a DNC now is like the make or break of the policy. I mean, medical DNC, because I can't say it on here.
Oh, you can't.
But what are some other areas and facets where you can make that paradigm work for you and shift for you and so on and so forth? I don't know how many people watch The Simpsons, but I told Simon in August, The Simpsons already predicted that he was going to win a second time, and Simpsons haven't been wrong yet. So you know what we did? We went and got a whole bunch of capital together and we shoved it into Bitcoin because we already kind of saw the writing on the wall. Little things like that. My son, he's like in a group, they play PS5 or Xbox. I don't know what kind of console. Everybody in this house got their own console. But it's a squad and they play together. They also like to do like Bible study and talk about stuff and stuff like that. And I had to tell them, when you're talking to decamillionaires, when you're talking to centimillionaires, when you're talking to billionaires, they have all read this one book. They all have this one book in common. And it's The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Now, if you're prior service military, maybe you don't have to read the book, but you need to have some ideas in mind. And the first thing you need to understand is that the battlefield of war, whether it's they're weaponizing money, they're weaponizing food. What else do they weaponize? They weaponize sounds in the United States. They do what we call PSYOPs, which is a psychological operation.
They definitely weaponize the weather.
The weather, whatever it is that's being weaponized against you, understand that the actual battlefield is not a geographical location. It is not Colorado. It's not New York. It's not California. It's not just the United States. That battlefield is actually here in your mind, right? And you have to fight the battle at the right battlefield. I told them if you were going to get into a confrontation with someone and they were going to meet you in the boxing ring and you don't know how to box, you're going to lose. If they want to meet you, fencing and you don't know how to wield a sword, you're going to lose. If they want to have a gunfight with you, well, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but if they want to have a pew-pew fight with you and you don't know how to discharge your weapon, you don't know how to assemble your weapon, you don't know how to unjam your weapon, you don't know how to troubleshoot it, you're going to lose. So the same strategy applies. If the battlefield is the mind, this is where you have to start first. So you have to start seeing things different than the masses. You have to start asking questions. People on average, and while I cannot qualify or quantify this, people on average don't ask enough questions. You don't question things. You don't say, I'm looking at this and this doesn't make sense, or how can I make this work for me, or how could I see this a different way? How can I change my perception, right? I'm looking at it 2D. Now I want to look at it 3D, right? Now I want to look at this thing in 5D. How can I rearrange its properties so I can look at it in multiple perspectives? And then and only then do you start to fight the war on the right battlefield, which is your mind. You cannot be so emotionally involved in the narratives that the media is giving you that you don't have strategy put together for the household.
And like we say, we're coming with the book, right? The flag theory. We say, be nimble, have a place that you're looking at. Like, I really don't like the government where I'm at, but the government over in this other country looks stable. It looks,
and no government's perfect, but what environment might be better for you? 2, I'm going to tell y'all right now, and we've been telling you guys, if you left the airspace of your familiarity, right? Because we're not necessarily talking to just Americans. I could be talking to you in, I don't know, wherever you grew up with world, right? I could be talking to you from Grenada, and this is where you've been your whole life. Once you leave the familiarity of your airspace, your mind starts to think because you've done something different. You're firing new neural pathways. There's new connections being formed. And now you can see things different. You can think different. You can ask different questions. And that's what you have to do. You got to, like battery cables, you got to jumpstart the engine of your mind so that you can live strategically. It doesn't matter what political party's in office. It doesn't matter what the media narrative is. It doesn't matter that the dollar is losing its value every single nanosecond of the day.
And this is, and let's explain what she's talking about. What Erin is very good at, as am I, because I taught her this technique.
Wives, if you watching.
No, she's very good at reading books, different books, and being able to mash the information together.
You have to connect it.
Yeah, right, because I read painfully that book by Lynn Alden called Broken Money.
Oh boy. That's a textbook though.
It's a textbook. But when you get all that technical information, you got to be able to come back and merge it with, say, a Dr. Joe Dispenza, where he's going to talk more about neurology and stuff like that. Like she says, building the neural pathways. And then you just merge these other books and you can see where everything kind of fits together.
But it's more than forming the neural pathways, the oodles and noodles kind of grooves in your brain. It's about forming new connections as well, right? So when you start to form the new connections and the synapses are looking to like grab one another, you're also releasing certain chemicals. And there's firings going on. It's literal electricity going on in your brain. it gives you the new perspective that you need to have. So you can ask the new questions for the new knowledge that you need to know in order to figure out how to now apply said knowledge, which is the beginning of wisdom.
And you'll see it from anybody out there, rich and famous, wealthy, anybody. They say never stop learning.
Mm-mm.
Don't think because you went and got your degree, like, oh, I'm cool. No, because the things you got a degree in are turning obsolete on you. And then the young new cat's gonna get in the
But
door.
decamillionaires, centimillionaires, billionaires will start to tell you, right? They see things different. What you perceive as a hard stop, pause, they just see as, what can I learn from this and how can I get over this wall? If I can't get over the wall, can I go through the wall? If I can't go through the wall, can I phase through the wall? How can I get past this wall? What tool do I need? What do I need to go in my toolbox and get? They see it like that. Where the average person sees the wall is like, well, there's a wall there. I can't. They don't wonder what's behind the wall. They don't know if something is being kept from them. They're not asking the questions. In the wake of it, and it doesn't matter, like I said, you want to get to the point where doesn't matter what party, because you have to remember too, you have, I don't have any coins on me, but they're two wings of the same bird. It's two sides of the same coin. I can go on and on and on and on. What looks different to you when you look at it from a different perception, it is exactly the same thing. I can't remember who used to say it. I want to say it was Panic, who said like and unalike are alike.
Yes.
Was it Panic who said that?
Yeah, that's a polarity thing. Like,
it make you think it's two different things, and it's not. Right? They run together. They roll together. I told you guys when OPEC, I think it was OPEC, went to, I want to say San Francisco or some part of California, Biden kissed the freaking president of China on the cheek. So in the media, it looks like, oh, China and the United States don't get along. When they go to their little World Economic Forums, right, where they're plotting against the average global citizen of the world, there is no difference. They're all in one accord on how they can make sure that you own nothing and will like it. You will be happy. So you don't want to get caught up in these narratives. You don't want to get caught up in arguing with people. I call this the virtual box. He don't like when I say that, but the internet is a virtual box with a lot of non-playable characters talking to you and interacting with you and trying to trigger you and get a reaction out of you. You really want to start seeing your world differently. And the only way you can start seeing the world differently and moving differently and behaving differently and feeling differently is by beginning to ask questions, right? And you don't allow stumbling blocks and walls and things that are perceived to hold you back, right? You start asking questions.
And that goes for people, like we all do, make mistakes. Don't get down on that. Use it as a learning opportunity. Like, okay,
what went right? Yeah, start there. And then one went wrong. And what if I did this like this? You're a scientist running an experiment, NPCs everywhere. I'm telling you, they everywhere. That's why I said, don't get on here. Even the pretty ones, right? When you go on, people like their Instagram, they like liking all the half-naked girls. They're saying now that 30% of them half-naked girls on Instagram is AI. You're not even an NPC. You are a filler in the simulator. So you don't want your attention and your energy to get sucked in to the non-playable characters, but even worse, fillers in the simulation. Like, this is furniture. This ain't even a real thing for you to put energy into. And start putting your energy into, no matter what the scenario is, what are some of the ways this scenario can actually benefit me? What can I learn from the scenario? Most importantly, what can I offer to the scenario? Because when mugs are in survival mode, and y'all are seeing more than ever, people are in survival mode, they only think about themselves. And that's the natural wiring of your brain.
It is. I I would think about other people. I got other people in my family.
But you're not in survival mode. Your
Nah.
lifestyle reflects that you have the security that you need so that you can focus on bigger things. When people are in actual survival mode, where they feel like they have lack, they have scarcity, they have restriction, the ego goes into, I'm gonna call it Super Saiyan, right? It just gets magnified and amplified, and all they can see is themselves. You really want to work hard in breaking through that as well, and seeing what you can offer, what you can contribute. A lot of times people think that contributing means they have to take their financial resources
Yeah.
and give it to somebody, and you don't understand that quite often your time might be more worthwhile than the money. It might be more valuable than handing out the money.
Yes, indeed.
Looks like Gibbon Holder may be in St. Lucia. I hope you're having a great time. Be safe.
Ed Diaz, shout out to Ed. Lamone
So,
Goose.
like we're telling you all of these things and we're looking at stuff, but yes, Bitcoin is running. Great. This is what we've been waiting for. But you also have to stay prepared. You have to stay ready. If a black swan event occurs and the cyclical nature of what we've been seeing, it will. You want to be prepared.
Yeah.
You want to have tangible sound money, which is my recommendation. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm somebody who was the scientist. Simon and I, we practice, we run these experiments out here in the field, and we come back and tell you like, hey, they work great for us. So you may want to try it too. You want to have tangible sound money. That's your precious metals. You want to have digital sound money. That is your Bitcoin. Some of you have a basket of coins and stuff like that. I hope they're running as well. I sent you a screenshot that XRP was $1.08.
No, that was the wrong screenshot.
Was it the wrong screenshot?
I don't know where you got it from. I had to go check. Like, wow.
I thought it was too. I said, but it's down. So maybe I'll put the thing in backwards. Yeah. Anyway, it's important for you to be prepared and consider all of the options. Simon watches a gentleman named Dr. Nuri Muhammad.
Yeah, the minister. He is the...
Anyway, he's part of the NOI. I know y'all know Rizza Islam and Brother Ben X and stuff like that, but Dr. Nuri Muhammad
he's really like close in rank to the honorable.
He's much, and that's neither here nor there. Yeah, but he says, you work it like it's yourself, but you have faith in it like it is the Most High Yahuwah. So you want to just kind of attribute that faith without works is completely dead, right? You have that faith and stuff, and you want to start working. We're getting to the end of the year. I know y'all love these pagan holidays coming up. Spending a whole bunch of money on Thanksgiving, feeding a whole bunch of people is not necessary to do. You can pull back on the amount of food that's happening that day. Or if you're going to buy that amount of food, put that in your pantry so that you can have your stock if you need it, Christmas and so on and so forth. And you want to start looking at, instead of me consuming, what can I produce?
I gotta say, it's my recommendation to go over somebody's house on Thanksgiving.
Don't even do that.
Go over my friend's house.
If the banks want to use XRP, it must stay flat. That's true. T-Will line. You're right about that.
It's been that price forever.
Just like with the silver T-Will line, we can see on the national debt clock.
Yeah.
That silver is supposed to be like $400 or $500 an ounce.
It's 408 paper silver contracts to each one actual silver ounce,
which is illegal. But anyway, right, let me not get off target. What I'm saying is, when mugs want to participate in consumption, they find the money. They will find the money. They got to beg, borrow, and plead. They will find the money. But when it comes time for production, for producing something, they simply can't find the money. And when you look at, again, Deca millionaires, centimillionaires, billionaires, you're like, why you keep bringing them up? I keep bringing them up because what I'm trying to do is I'm studying their mindset. What makes you different from other people? What makes you the 1%? And I'm not talking about some of the nefarious for malevolent things that go along with some of it. I'm just talking about your mindset. I'm talking about business owners, people who have built something from the ground up and have replicated that process multiple times with success. What does your mind look like? I want to see what that looks like. And I'm telling you, quite often they are producers. They are not consumers. They're not wearing Louis Vuitton shirts. They're not running around with Birkin bags. They're not driving Phantoms and Maybachs, and not say that they don't have nice cars, but a lot of them tell you, like, I don't put my money in depreciating assets. That's not what I do. That car, as soon as I drive it off the lot, it's going to depreciate, when I could have put it in this other business I was working on and sold it and tripled and so on. And they tell you these things. Or if they do have an expensive vehicle, they have one expensive vehicle. They don't have 7 cars they can't drive because they're stick shifts and they don't know how to drive a stick shift. I'm using that as an example because that's what's constantly shown to us. The Birkin bags, the jewelry, the big gaudy necklaces. You don't know, you can't give Jacob back that necklace, right? He's going to give you a third of the price you bought it for, melt it down.
He's going to give you melt value.
And turn it into something classic and sell it for twice the price. He's the one making the money on the deal. I don't even know if Jacob's still in business.
You remember, you could get the Rolex. Everybody's getting the Rolex from the Rolex store. Lifetime guarantee. Bring it back, do it. But if you made any alterations to it,
warranty done.
And how many
start
people
icing it out and doing stupid stuff?
But how many people used to do that back? I got the iced out roller and all that.
But
stuff.
What I'm telling you these things because they put these characters, I'm calling these are playable characters. They're not non-playable characters. They're playable characters.
Oh, those characters.
They put the playable characters in front of you so that if the wealth should be transferred to you, should be in some which way, shape, or form, we have already programmed you and 2 generations after you to transfer the wealth back to us. The narratives are wrong. Right? For those of you who partake in the music, who watch the athletes and you listen to the stuff that they do and the stuff that they have, you would see it's in direct opposition to the mindset of the producer, where the wealth can now transfer to a generation or 2 more versus be lost in this one. Okay? Yeah. And again, the money's always lost in consumption. So what do? They have been programming you to consume since you were a toddler. Right? The minute you were able to look at a blue screen, and when I call it a blue screen, whether that's a tube TV when we were growing up, or this mechanism here that our children have, they have been programming you to consume. Notice that school does not teach you to produce. It doesn't. School teaches you to obey commands, be that good worker, and move on in life. And then they'll throw on top, if you want to look successful to the person next to you, consume. Right? So we're talking about changing those narratives. And again, that battlefield is the mind. They are waging war against a wealth transfer that's starting to get out of hand. Right? They're starting to lose some of the grip they used to have on that wealth transfer. So now they're going into overdrive in trying to, we have to program your mind and your children's mind because it goes into collective consciousness. As soon as you have that child, the thoughts here automatically transfer through the loins, whether it's his or hers, in order to do what we can to get that wealth transferred back to us some which way, shape, or form. Don't be part of that statistic. Don't be part of that statistic. You don't need that bag. You don't need those boots. You don't need them shoes. You don't necessarily need that car. Yeah. Right? There's nothing wrong with if you make it and you buy one nice luxury car, great. You can only drive one car at a time.
That's it.
When you watch the mansion tours on television, on YouTube, and it's good to look just to kind of see. I'm trying to re-engineer, and break down mindset. So I sit and I watch those things. While the house is sprawling and they have a lot of beautiful furniture and it has a very minimalist view. I've noticed if you watch 10 mansion tours, there is no television in the master bedroom. You know what that means? It means he ain't sitting at home watching TV. There's always a library in the office. You know what that means? It means he reads. People are like, no, they just had that to be fancy. No, they don't.
Now they read.
Wealthy people read about 50 books a year on average, and they've done the study.
You know what they told us as young men, eventually you have to mature on from the man cave to what she says, like an office library, right? You may only have one extra room in the house. Just put it in there and start getting your hands on books. I mean, I'm talking about classics and just and they do go read that stuff.
You have a quantum processor. This can hold 1 million books on there, and you still have space to do all the other stuff you do. They have apps now. Like if you don't have a lot of time, I'm not crazy about this because to me, again, I'm always looking at mindsets, questions and stuff like that. So Kindle is my best friend. I want to read the book. Kindle Unlimited, if you are a Prime member, and most people are Prime members, there are so many free productivity books on Kindle. It's not funny. You don't have to spend a dime because that $13.99 or the $15.99 or whatever it is now that we pay, it more than pays for the books. But if you are short on time, they have an app, and I'm not sponsored by this company. They should sponsor me though with the amount of books I read. I've already read I read 797 books already on Headway. Right? It's an app. I'm sure y'all have seen it. I'm sure they bother you.
They break it with
right? Categories you're interested in: leadership, happiness, health, money and investments, and productivity, right? It's a 10, 15 minute synopsis. Some synopsises are more comprehensive than others. Giving you insights and stuff on certain aspects of leadership, of productivity, business, career, entrepreneurship. And if the book intrigues you enough, you go on your Kindle Unlimited or whatever, and you buy the book and read it.
Yeah, read it. So
go ahead.
I'm saying these are things we should be doing as a community. You could do it in your household too. Like we said, running like a business, you tell them, hey, I want you to read some books, and they come back and give us what they found about the book, how they like it. We read books. We could do the same.
There's synopsis, but we're able to ask them real questions to dig into, because I probably read the book. I'm going to tell you that now. To really dig into, did you read the book, or did you scan the book? Did you skim the book? Are you able to connect the dots? Because intellectual semantics is one thing, and the application of the knowledge in the book is another. Right? I want to know, if I put you in a scenario where you needed this information, can you make the information work? It's like, if I sent you in the field and I gave you some sticks and a flint, can you make a fire? Right?
Good luck.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's basically, I'm giving you a tool bag. Can I get you to build something for me based on it? So, 2, social media can be destructive. Social media can be productive. Set the algo to the energy that you want as far as the outcome. I scroll social media, and I've gotten so much good information and ideas. This is my ThinkPad. Ask my husband how many ThinkPads I have. I'm almost to the end of my ThinkPad. This is all the pages I have left of my ThinkPad. And I write in my ThinkPad every single day. Right? When I get on the algo and I start seeing ideas and people like, you can do this like this, where somebody says, this is what I've learned in business. This is what I've learned in investing. This is what I've learned in life. I sit and I take note of those things, right? If you're not somebody who likes to handwrite, handwriting is a good thing psychologically, because you're taking information from the ether or from the astral realm, as far as I'm concerned. And when you write it down, you're bringing it into the 3rd dimension, and then it's your job to transform that into the 4th or 5th dimension. Right now, we're in the 4th dimension, in case y'all are confused. 5th dimension is the upgrade we're waiting on. But if you're not big into, this is a quantum processing computer, right? Everybody has this in their pockets. So if you don't want to write stuff down, everybody has a free notepad on this quantum processing device. Even more so in 2024, when you have questions and you want a bit more deeper analytical understanding, everybody has access to some form of AI. Mine is called Perplexity. For some of y'all, that's Chat GPT or whatever it is you guys are using. So you can put prompts in the AI and start tearing apart and engineering the information you need to make the changes in life so that geopolitical events or any event, narratives, media, this and that and the third, don't matter.
That's why you got to get your.
They don't matter.
You got to get your flags planted, people.
They don't matter.
You had like I tell people this all the time. When we first moved to Mexico, back in the day, we had a nice little house, 2-story, 3-bedroom house in the middle of nowhere. We had avocado trees, a pool. We had all this stuff, and it was $323 per month.
It started at $310.
There you go. So
the first bill we paid was $310, but we was there for a while. It went up.
Yeah, and so you can get a little spot like that. That's just my little throwdown spot I got in Mexico. And you know, when I just go down there and kick it. Now,
and it fit a family of 6.
And it's not the beach. It's not all that stuff. It's more like volcanoes and mountains.
But I want to end on an illustrative paradigm for those of you who have read the good book, and whether you've read it or not, I know you know the story. Abram, before he became Abraham, he lived in the land. He lived with his father and all of his extended family. So all of the brothers had wives, they had children. The father had brothers and so on and so forth. The wives had sisters, they have handmaidens. You have a community kind of like in the United States where this large extended family dwells in this one particular place, right? For those of you who've read the good book, the Bible, the scriptures, this land was called the land of Ur. And the Most High, the Almighty, in all of his intelligence and wisdom and knowledge and understanding of every facet of this system we live in, says to Abram, I want you to leave the land of your fathers so that I may bless you. And the question is, why? Let me move on to illustration number 2. So let's fast forward to Jacob. Jacob got hella kids, right? And all of these kids, all 12 of these kids, really 13 because of Benjamin, they comprise of the nation of Israel. And the Holy One says to them, I'm going to take you into a land of strangers in order to bless you. It is the land of milk and honey, is where I was trying to take the forefathers before you. Let's jump back a bit more to just jump back a bit from Jacob. Moses, they was all in Egypt, right? And he says, Moses, I want you to get the people because I'm going to take you out of this land of familiarity to a land with strangers in it. And you want to start asking. The Most High Almighty keeps taking these very important individuals, he makes them important, and says, I got to take you away from the land, and you want to see the land. When he says of your fathers, you want to see that of familiarity. I'm a New Yorker. They said that the average New Yorker, and I'm talking the boroughs, the average New Yorker does not travel outside of a 6-block radius. That's crazy. And you know, must be like, nah, I live in Brooklyn. I live in Brownsville. I go to Queens. I go to Manhattan. On average, you don't. Everything you need is right there, and it's right there on purpose, right? This is what we call cultivating a myopic point of view. But what y'all don't know is when y'all spread that sampling out, people who live in their childhood hometowns, they don't move past the 6-block radius either. Right? And it's a way for their body to feel safe, to feel comfortable, because there's an uncertainty that scares them. And when that uncertainty scares you and it keeps you in this place and it keeps you in familiarity, You can't ask the questions you need to ask. You cannot transcend the being that you are now to an even greater version of yourself within the quantum field. It's impossible. That's why they say with man, it's impossible, but with the Most High, all things are possible because he envelopes that entire quantum field, and it usually takes him to get you out of this one square on the quantum field. For those of y'all who have ceramic tile, we have ceramic tile on the floors, and each ceramic tile is a square. Okay, and we have 2 living rooms, boom and boom. And it's like, imagine picking one square on one half of your living room, and that's the square you live in decades at a time. You never move to another square. That's the quantum field.
Quantum field's crazy. They did an experiment with ants. Okay, so it was on a piece of paper, and what happened was the guy would just draw a square around the box where the ant is, and he would just keep walking around the box. He didn't even realize that he could just crawl over it and be done. And eventually,
The ink.
And then eventually he crawled over it, and then now you could never do that to him again because when you draw the box around, he just keep walking.
Once he broke free, you guys will see
Yeah.
on the internet, you'll see pictures of an elephant, a gigantic, ginormous elephant traveling with the circus, has a rope tied from its trunk to a plastic chair, just sitting there. Chair ain't tied to nothing. It's just the elephant in the chair, and the elephant won't move. So I'm saying all of that to you because I was very disturbed to hear that over 700 people were unalive themselves, because this is YouTube, because of who won the election. They felt such a hopelessness in moving forward. And it's like the government is not there to save you anyway. Right? So we can't be short-sighted on what's going on with that. The question is now, as an adult who needs to take accountability and responsibility for your life choices, what's the plan?
That's real.
Am I fighting on the right battlefield? Starts here, right? Do I have the tools in my mental toolbox, right, to effectively fight this war? And if the answer is no, it's a good place to be, because at least you know and you acknowledged it. So now what you need to do is you need to be in pursuit, like a real video game, for the tools you need to put in your toolbox so that you can upgrade your character, your skins, or whatever it is they call it now, in this video game of life. Right? And those are some of the things that I think we're missing as we're trying to participate in a very specific wealth transfer. A lot of the audience thinks it's just about, I'm going to just collect Bitcoin, I'm going to be cool.
You can.
I don't think that's going to work.
It depends on your situation, but
I don't think that's going to work. I think that there's certain things you need to do mindset-wise and watch the temperature of the environment.
Yeah, watch from afar though. That's my theory. Don't watch inside the burning house burn down.
Right.
Go outside, stand way back, and then
don't let them integrate you into a burning house. We've done that before.
You just watch. Don't go in that burning house. And there's a lot of things that go with this. We probably kept y'all too long. I want to show one last thing, and then as people gotta get up, go to work and stuff. Can you share that? And then, so I talked about it last week. I'm gonna keep talking about it to y'all because I want to see somebody come down here. Now we got the Money Expo, Mexico City 2025, and that will be attending that event. And they tell you like who we are and the things they are. So let me see, who are we? That is.
It's United Banking, Wealth Management, Payment Gateways, traders, brokers, investors, financial institution, and brokers within dynamic trading and investing community. These professionals are coming together to foster connections, meaningful relationships, and stay abreast of latest market trends. So what you're doing is you are entering into an environment where everybody's vibrating on the frequency of wealth. Right? And you're coming together with like minds, which forms at this level, with the amount of people who are going to be there, which forms a very specific egregor. Okay? So
we learn about it.
Meetups, the ability to socially connect with like minds within a very specific vibrational alignment. You want to start encouraging that type of algorithm in your living life. Algorithm is not restricted to just your quantum processing device. You are also a quantum processor, and you vibrate, and you have an algorithm, and you want to start, reworking your own algorithm to reworking your own algorithm so that you can be in alignment with a lot of the outcomes that you want to capture and capitalize on.
Yeah. And something like this, like she said, you can network. You can also be a sponsor or a partner. So if you have a business or, you start a business between that time period, then you could be a sponsor. You can have your own booth. You know how it is. Everybody got like a little booth and they have their wares. They got like this keychain. They talk to you about what your business is. And, you can just do that. And it's a good way to start the year off. And Mexico City's a nice place. And we'll be there. We'll be there. So you let us know, we can make it easier for you. Because that airport is a MFer. I ain't gonna say it, but that airport.
But even if you can't make it to Mexico City, you look for these events in your own, where you are, or within reasonable travel distance to where you live, and try to start, making those moves so that you can socially network and reach out and get questions answered, receive information, offer information, and so on and so forth. It's really it's a tool for your toolbox, to be honest.
Yeah, it is, definitely, because you'll meet some people that you actually can do business with, benefit from, or they could benefit from you.
You can learn about their startups. They may have platforms that they're building. They may have a basket of coins that you are interested in, or they may have some hardware that they use that you weren't necessarily aware of, and it's something that works great and you want to give it a try. You want to test it in the field. So these are all things you want to kind of keep in mind as you are working towards the generational wealth that you are working to build in any geopolitical climate, in any socio-political climate, in every climate, I really want to say. You want to get to a point where none of those things really matter. And if it does matter, how can I make it matter to the point where I benefit?
I benefit. Not on some selfish, but just
no. But how whether it's a good scenario or bad scenario, if you perceive it to be not a great scenario, are there any aspects of this scenario which I perceive to not be great that are beneficial? Because I took the time to pull that wall down and consider the possibilities available in this thing, right? And it doesn't mean the answers will come to you immediately, right? But the fact that you've opened yourself up to the question, the answers may come in time. Like, you know what? Looking back on it, this actually worked in my favor. And had it worked, had it went the way I thought it was best to go, that would have actually not worked in my favor. And I didn't even peep it because I was emotionally tied to a decision instead of being open to what possibility could work best for me, what possibility does actually work best for me, and so on and so forth. And I'm not talking about either candidate. I'm just talking about in general, because again, we're here, the president here, right? No. Whatever her policies are or what have you, doesn't really matter to us. If we live in the United States, your new president-elect matters in the sense that he's good for the economy and it will benefit us, but we try to live in a way where our toolboxes are equipped that it don't matter who's in charge, because this is the almighty in our lives, and we work on that quantum field.
Definitely do. And we didn't want to keep it. You want to say I didn't have no more articles. We just wanted to give you that update and smile, because Bitcoin is testing that 76, 77. and we're gonna be happy. I'll try it. Come back Saturday, but probably not.
Mm-hmm.
It's too kind of close. Maybe Monday.
Well, we'll see, because you never know. Bitcoin may be at 83
Yeah,
by Saturday. We should just meet up.
Yeah, it's always options. And
XRP might be $1.
man, shit. So
You never know. You just know you gotta open yourself up to the possibilities. But we love y'all, and start taking inventory of the battlefield, your battlefield. Is your battlefield fit to fight a battle? Some people will tell you straight up, like, nah, it ain't fit at all. I was watching an interview, was the short that came up, and Capadonna was talking. I want to say he was talking to Angie Martinez, but I can't remember now. And they were talking about dating and the dating thing. Y'all know Capadonna probably like 54 years old.
He kind of is, really.
Right?
Really
Capadonna straight was honest. He said, I ain't fit to date, right? I am not qualified to be dating anybody with the way my mind is arranged and the things that happen and stuff that I ain't even bother working out. And that was really, really transparent. So I'm not only watching Decament, I watch people's mindset in general so that I can kind of get glimpses on things that I can adopt, or things I should take note of, or things that just something to observe, like, because you're a scientist, so you're just observing all aspects of the field. But I thought that was so like transparent for him to be like, I'm not qualified to date anybody at this time.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, you want to ask yourself, are you qualified is your battlefield of your mind qualified to fight the battles that are on your quantum processor, on your television, out in the world when you in traffic, going to work, at work, with your coworkers, in your personal life, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But really, no matter which way, shape, or form is shake down, my recommendation would be start looking for new ways to perceive things.
Now, you went through a lot of this, but you got to mention the author of the book, who he is. Maybe they want to check him out.
So I've been really heavy. I've been studying Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Yep.
And he's got this book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And it's almost like,
hey,
the observer, you can observe yourself, you observing yourself, right? It's like a Simpsons episode. And there was a Simpsons episode like that. But when you start observing yourself, you can now start analyzing the things that you can tweak to give you the best results and the best outcomes moving forward. You can even analyze maybe some of the things that are actually making you sick. And when I say sick, I don't mean like you might be mean and nasty. I don't know. But I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about maybe anxieties and worries and stuff. Are you somebody who makes a literal mountain out of a molehill? And then when the situation comes to pass, you realize like, oh, it wasn't that big of a deal, was it? But you made yourself sick in the process.
Yeah.
So it's Dr. Joe Dispenza, the Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And it first started coming up as little shorts on Facebook, and then another short and another short. You know, anything you interact with on Facebook, they're going to keep sending you more. And then he started talking about the quantum field and how you can shift from one side of quantum field to the side of the quantum field you actually want to be on. So if you were playing a game of chess and you wanted to checkmate your opponent, that's the side of the board you want your piece to be on. It is just like that, for real, for real. If you make, and I'm talking for some people, there will be major adjustments. But Simon and I, we've done a lot of housekeeping over the last decade. So for us, we're looking at like minor adjustments and new habit forming to get on certain parts of the quantum field that we want to be on. And we've gotten used to moving around the quantum field, but if I'm the queen, right, I should be able to move on any part of the floor, period. And that's what I want to practice, is that dynamic ability to move in any position on the quantum field that I want to be on.
And that's definitely good information and stuff. I sit there with her and she shows me some things, but we're going to have a whole show about it. But I'm sorry, yeah, you wanted to
That's it, y'all.
Yeah, I had a couple more things,
Oh,
but
did you?
it'd take too long.
Yeah, we'll do it on
I'll save it.
Saturday.
I'll save it over.
We love y'all,
Okay.
and y'all know y'all can email us. We answer all emails
Oh,
in real
please
time.
do. We take it.
And we'll see you Saturday.